Good morning, everybody. Thanks for logging in and joining us online. You guys way outnumber the in-crowd crew today, so kudos. Jump right in here. Again, there's not a whole lot going on. I'll talk a little bit about what we've been seeing, the shift with futures the last week or two here, and go from there. Some of the things influencing that, and kind of give you my best political answer on what I think we should be doing with the wheat we still got left. So uh jumping in, bids yesterday, we've had cash bids pull down the last couple of days. When I checked futures this morning, they had kind of stabilized and we were trading up just a little bit. Even now, Josh tells me they're trading pretty flat to even right now, unchanged from yesterday. So I kind of have a suspicion that'll stop the bleeding on our cash price. But kind of what we've had going on a little bit is we've had a decent little run up in futures. We U.S. wheat as a whole, you guys won't like to hear this or might disagree with me, but we were competitive in the world market price wise. And then this part, you're not going to agree with me with the run up in futures. It becomes overpriced. It's all comparable. I know it's not overpriced when you're the one growing it and what your input costs are, but in a world market, that's what happens. And then those phone calls for that demand start to back off. And I think some of that's going to be indicative on the export sales when we get there in just a second. So what we had going was run up in futures, cash price pushed up, demand was ticking along pretty good. I've got the export sales sheet in front of me. You can see that we've actually strung together some pretty good weeks going back to the week of January 23rd. In the white wheat category there, we were 7 million bushels for that week, 2.9 the following, 5.5, and then 5.9. So things were ticking along. I believe last week we actually saw a little bit of new crop sales slipping in there. Keep in mind the USDA marketing year is through May 31. So that could be a June sale, not technically actually new crop wheat, but that'll give you an idea how far out these guys are trading right now. So this current week though, that's being reported right now, if you take a look at all wheat category right there, kind of in the center, top of that page, trade estimates had us at 11 to 22 million bushels, and we actually came in for the week at 9.9. So wheat of all classes, we were below expectations, which you would imagine would be bearish information or bearish news on the market. White wheat, we had dipped down to 1.2 million bushels. So not our lowest in the 10-week recap up there above, but not too far off. So that tells me either one, there was something going on overseas, long holiday, something like that, or the fact that, there's some decent buying and then our prices crept up to the point where it kind of shut that faucet off. Then you saw your futures retract yesterday and the day before, and there's you see what's happened to our cash price. We dipped back below $6 for February, which February is kind of a moot point right now because you're probably not going to get your check till next week anyway. So you might as well sell for March at a little bit higher. And if you can hold out to April, you get another 10 cents. So that bid structure, I've hit on it before. The exporters are wanting basically May forward right now. I get a little bit of interest for April wheat, but it's kind of tough to be paying big numbers for stuff that I can't turn around and sell. So, the pricing structures there such that we're wanting the wheat farther out. It's kind of tough to pay for it now and then just have to sit on that. So that's where you're seeing your pricing structure the way it is. If we do jump over to these export sales report, all right, I want to hit one or two other items on some of the futures activity and why we saw it fall off yesterday. One of those being improved weather conditions in South America. Yes, that's not a major wheat competitive region, but it is for corn and soybeans on the world market. So favorable weather conditions there. are going to be bearish news, obviously, on commodities overall. You've got that playing into it. And then you've also got the tariff talk. We're supposed to have a 30-day reprieve or whatever. Yesterday morning, I was sent a news article. I think it might have been CNBC. I'm not sure which source it was, but March 4th, the Mexico and Canada tariffs are supposed to go into effect, and then an additional 10% with China. So that right there, with improved weather forecasts, the tariff information, that's, I think, really why we saw these markets, the futures markets, for lack of a better term, crap out the last couple of days. Looks like things are kind of stabilizing today. We'll see what the rest of the session brings. But like I said, we're an hour into the trading session and we were up 5 or 6 cents earlier. And Josh says we're trading flat right now. So we're going to continue to see volatility, obviously, with the news like that, on again, off again on the tariffs. All you got to do is look at the, I don't know if that page didn't even made it in the packet today. I guess it's on the back one. Play on words on an old movie quote, but risk on, risk off. So weather's definitely going to fuel this thing going forward. As we start to ramp up towards corn planting season and wheat coming out of dormancy, it's going to be too wet, it's going to be too dry, and the markets are going to bounce around accordingly. So going through, flip through the export sales report. Page 10, looks like we probably had a switch around on unknown, which would be interesting because a couple of weeks ago we had an unknown sale marked in there. Either this unknown that's shown as a negative, it could either be split between a couple different countries listed on there to get to that total, or it could be some information that wasn't published correctly in a prior report. I wish we had the information of, notes on those to tell us kind of what had happened. A lot of times, if you see that negative number to unknown, you'll turn around and see that same number positive to a country designation, and you can tell that it just got switched from, they didn't have to report the sale to which country to then it got designated. So again, it's not a huge figure there at the 1.5 million bushels, but it would be nice to have a little more information there. Taking a look through the rest of the report, there's not really a whole lot going on. Like I said, it's weather markets, and I think some computer trading is going to give us this volatility. What the heck to do with old crop if we're still sitting on it? If you can hold off and sell in those deferred months at your 3 cents per month on your storage, the 10 cents to go out from March to April is definitely worthwhile. I know there's other expenses that get included with that, but if you're borrowing money or anything like that, so everybody's situation is different. But as far as just your costs associated with holding to that grain at the co-op, it definitely pays to go farther out. Definitely continue when we see these rallies. They're not huge rallies, but from $6 or up to $6.20, I always preach that it's better to sell, I feel, on the upswing and ladder into those things. I hate to see the market have a couple, a strong week, and at least we're adding to it, and then all of a sudden you see a drop of 10 to 15 cents in one day, and then somebody sells out everything they had when we could have been selling it on the way up. But that's the way it is. I want to look over in the chat. I don't see anything, questions in there yet. I'll probably turn it over to Jacob because he's right here and I know he's logged on. I'll continue to watch the chat, and then if anybody else has anything they'd like to add, feel free to jump in after Jacob. I think it was asked last time regarding some of the meetings with Northwest. Josh is sitting here next to me, and it sounds like you'll be seeing those notices here in the coming weeks of those meetings to hopefully happen by sometime in mid-March. But don't hold me to that. You guys will get more information as that comes along. So with that, I will turn it over to Jacob.
Okay, thank you, Justin. Just a real quick couple updates for you guys from OSU Extension. Just a general reminder that next Tuesday, March 4th, that is going to be the annual meeting for the Oregon Weed Growers League for both Wasco County and Sherman County chapters, along with the Sherman County SWCD. So please consider joining us for that. Again, next Tuesday, March 4th at the Sherman County Fairgrounds here in Morrow. Social hour begins at 4, followed by agency updates, and the dinner starts at 5:30. So please give RSVP to Amanda Whitman at the Sherman County SWCD office to let her know you're planning on coming. We try to keep it on the down low, but there is a free bar hosted by Ed Stobbs and Sons again. So not a bad event to show up to for a free dinner and some drinks. So hopefully you guys can make it there. Other updates, I am planning this drone workshop for crop producers on March 18th in Morrow from 1 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. in the afternoon. Also trying to work on some pesticide credits for that as well, probably 2 to 3 pesticide credits for people who need those. Again, the idea with that is really getting producers connected with other people in the industry that can provide drone services. We also are going to dive a little bit into, if people want to actually purchase their own drone and use that for either, mapping or scouting weeds or spraying weeds. So the idea is that we'll provide some of those resources there at that meeting as well. No RSVP required. So please just, if you are available that afternoon, you're interested in drones, please consider stopping by. Again, March 18th at the Sherman Experiment Station starting at 1:00. Those are the two larger updates that I have. Quiet crowd here in Morrow and on Zoom today. But I do have a newsletter that's coming out that got mailed out this week that hopefully you guys should be getting next week, early next week, that has all these updates in there as well. The one thing I was going to highlight now that I think about it, I was asked by extension faculty at the University of Idaho. There's this the PNW Herbicide Resistance Initiative. They have a producer survey that they are trying to get weed management perspectives among PNW ag producers. They would love to hear some feedback from people in this neck of the woods. They feel like they get a lot of feedback from producers up in the Palouse to focus their weed resistance research on. So I just encourage people, there's a link for that in the newsletter. If you have a moment today, consider filling it out and giving them kind of what our show is here in more of a dryland setting. So that's my update, Justin. Thanks for the opportunity. Don't see any questions here.
Okay, thanks, Jacob. Robin, I see your question in there. I don't know of anybody right off the top of my head. I'll do some checking around and shoot you an email on that on a lab. There's got to be somebody out there that would have some information. So I'll see what I can come up with and probably let you know next week. With that, don't see any hands up or anybody unmuting themselves. So we'll go ahead and get out of here. Enjoy some of the sunshine.
Hey, Justin, I got a quick one.
Yeah, go for it, Jeff.
Hey, we do have sales closing coming up on barley March 15th. If anybody's looking to get spring barley put in this year, it'd be worth a call to check in, see where your barley rates are at, because we know they don't get used all that often. Spring wheat, we got a little more time to report, but it is always nice to have a heads up if you're planning on putting in spring wheat. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, get out, enjoy some of that sunshine. Take my advice, even though that stubble might look kind of firm, don't drive in it. You'll get stuck like me yesterday. So give it a couple more days. With that, I'll talk to everybody later. Thank you.